marked the end of round one for the NBA playoffs after the Utah Jazz disposed of the LA Clippers in Game 7. So our hot topic today is really just about assessing the offseason options and questions for the 8 first-round losers. Let's work in reverse. Start with the Clippers. Their notable free agents are J.J. Redick, CP3, Chris Paul, and Blake Griffin. Now, a lot of the argument and conversation that we've been hearing in the media has really centered around the fact that the Clippers organization needs to blow up the roster. The problem is it's really not in their control, right? Because these players are all free agents. So the first question I got for you guys is, what should each of these players do? Start with J.J. Redick. Should he stay or should he go?
The market is looking very nice for Mr. J.J. Redick right now. There's a couple teams in that conference that need shooters really bad.
Really, really bad.
I think he's gone.
Yeah,
why not?
It's too much money.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just falls your way, and it fell his way
his way this year. What about CP3? Should he stay or should he go?
They write $200 million on a check. He's staying.
Kev?
Yeah, I'd like to see him stay. I mean, stop running, man. Those demons are right in front of you. He's got to face them head on. I like to see him and at least DeAndre Jordan stay and just add a third piece.
The thing is, he has control though. He can make some decisions for the team because he can sit back and wait and see what they do. If he doesn't want Doc there, if he wants Doc there, if he wants them to trade somebody, he has control.
I agree with that. I think for him, he's not going to be the one that jumps out first. I think he wants to wait to see what the landscape of the Clippers is going to be. So then to that end, Blake Griffin, does he stay? Does he go?
I think he's gone.
Does he go home?
Does that really help?
Does that really help them that much?
Yeah, somebody else who can't shoot.
Right.
I think Paul definitely stays.
Regardless, you think Paul stays regardless?
$40 million a year. Though?
Here's the thing that's interesting. Also, Blake Griffin leaving, like let's say he does leave, it does not give them any cap. It does not open up cap space.
It would be a sign and trade with them. That's what they would do with him.
Well, he's a free agent, right?
No, he has a player option.
He has a player option,
but they're both expected to opt out.
Yeah, but they can still sign and trade.
They can still sign and and that's if the right deal is. I like Miami, by the way, as a destination for Blake Griffin. Oklahoma City, I'm not too sure about. I like Miami as a destination for him. But all of you guys, Kevin, are you of the opinion that Blake should leave as well?
Yeah, I am. I think that experiment there is over. Especially if, with all due respect, if Doc stays, just because he hasn't. I know Omar but Blake hasn't. His game hasn't transcended to that next level where we all expected, where LeBron is, where Kawhi Leonard is, where Russell Westbrook is. And if it's going to, I think it may help him to get a fresh start.
Okay, follow-up question to that before we go to the next team, the Portland Trail Blazers. Is it time for Ballmer to part with Doc?
I think Doc needs to part with Doc. First, let's start with the hairline. With all the power that he has, he's the GM, he's the coach.
Yep.
The only question is who, if not him.
Right.
That's my only concern. I think I didn't necessarily fight Omar with that. He said he's been overrated for years, but now I'm on board with that. I think Doc is overrated, but. What else do you go? I mean, where else do you go?
Well, that's your job as an owner when you evaluating your team. You don't stick with something that's not working just because you don't think something else is out there. You go read. There's players. There's coaches out there. Yeah. Kurt didn't have a job before, and now he's a world champion.
Yeah.
Kurt did have a job, but it just wasn't coaching. He was comfortable.
He didn't have a coaching job.
Let's stay in the Pacific Division and look at the Portland Trail Blazers. They were swept by the Golden State Warriors. Now, their offseason, they've got 3 first-round picks. They will also are slated to have the highest payroll in basketball. They've got a lot of talent. They raped the Denver Nuggets in the deal, getting a first-round pick and getting Nurkic. The question I have for you guys is, how do they take the next step? And I'll put it to Les. What is it that they need to do to get to take the next step?
Like Dad says, scouting
Spend money on
really,
scouting.
They really have to hit on these 3 picks. It's a deep draft, so they have to hit on these 3 picks because they locked up so much money with Allen Crabbe, C.J. McCollum, and what's the name at the point?
That's a lot of money.
And Evan Turner.
Evan Turner.
Oh,
They
God,
spent
he's
so
awful.
much money.
Yeah.
So I mean, they have to hit on these so they can have some kind of price-controlled players.
Kevin, are you keeping all 3 of these picks, or are you packaging some of these picks with maybe 1 or 2 of these high-priced players to not only regulate your cap, but also to give? Because I feel like they duplicate themselves in a couple of different positions.
Yes.
Scouting.
They have a type.
Yeah.
It's slight and light at the guard position. You got Dame, CJ, Shabazz, all around the same size. They need a 3 and D. That's what they need. If they're going to build around the backcourt.
Yep.
The thing is, they have options because they have 3 first-round picks. Sorry, Kev. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I agree with what Devin said. I think they're not only are they deep in the same positions, have multiple guys who do the same things, but their approach, I think, is also their problem. They take too many bad shots. They don't have much offensive discipline. So I would definitely consider, if I was them, I would consider trying to package those picks to get maybe a veteran scorer in there that can kind of balance them out when Dame and McCollum aren't hitting from 40 feet.
No
Got to
one,
get someone else that can get him versatility on offense.
no one's talking about the defense, though. I think that is the big thing. I mean,
3 and D.
their defense improved a lot with Nurkic. They went from being like 23rd overall to, I think, 12th in defensive efficiency. Question for you, Devin, before we go to the Grizzlies. Is it time to... Because McCollum and Lillard, they both suck defensively, and that's putting it light. They score a lot of points. They have a lot of offensive talent.
Slight and light.
Do we break them up in order to take that next step?
I don't know if that's
It's
the
too
option.
soon?
I think it's too soon. I think you need a legitimate wing defender that can cover up their mistakes, and if you have someone on the back end that can help, because they are giving up the cheeks. It's the Ole defense out there on the wing.
Okay, Omar, this shouldn't take long. Memphis Grizzlies, the question I have for you, first of all, they blew their wad, signed Chandler Parsons, and his knee promptly gave out.
As expected.
All their notable free agents are old. Is Conley Gasol, is that foundation, is that good enough for Memphis? Yes or
Enough
no?
For what?
To be better than a first round exit?
No.
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 Well,
I have something I'd like to add.
yes.
It's very brief. Your second best scorer and defender cannot be 40.
Vince Carter.
Who's going to play again next year?
Who is going to play again this year?
Why not?
All right, let's move to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They got dealt with pretty easily, actually, which I was a little bit surprised by. Dealt with easily by the Houston Rockets. The question I have, and I'll start with you, Les, is it that we need to upgrade the supporting cast, or do we need to downgrade Russell Westbrook?
Upgrade at all 4 other positions besides point guard.
Okay.
Because first off, they need shooters. I mean, he would kick out to Roberson, and they say Roberson's going to get paid this summer.
He's the notable free. Him, Taj Gibson, and Doug McDermott are their notable free agents.
They should have built them like they built Houston with shooters. He needs shooters.
And that would work.
The missing ingredient, though, and we talked about this before, is, you cannot discredit Mike D'Antoni's offense. The space and the flow they have. Yes, shooters would help, but their offensive system is, it is what it is, and they got exposed. Dev, you're shaking your head. What are you thinking?
No, I'm just thinking that if they don't surround Russ with shooters, and I may be in the minority at this, I've talked to a couple of you about this, I think they need like a legit, straight up, for real, like orchestration point guard.
Ricky Rubio.
And move him to the 2 and let him do what he does, because he can still get the same assists, same rebounds, but in the flow of the offense. He's athletic enough to do that at the 2. He can score off of the wing. Him coming off of action, having someone chase him the whole time, or just off of anything but just bringing the ball up, one pick and roll and shoot. He wouldn't be as tired in the 4th, and he'd be still effective and more efficient.
He gets lost off ball, though.
He doesn't do anything. He just stands there.
But is that him or is that the offense? And that goes to a point Omar has consistently made, which is I would love to see Russell Westbrook with a real coach. I don't know, but it seems like everyone's on the upgrade the supporting cast. Yeah, Kev.
Yeah, That was an interesting point. I definitely agree. And when the one time I remember seeing Russell Westbrook play better off the ball was when he had Reggie Jackson spelling him sometimes or coming into the combo. Granted, Reggie Jackson is no pure point.
He served his purpose, though.
He's definitely not the answer, but we saw that combo worked. So I definitely agree. I think he needs not only a system around him that works, but someone that can make plays with the ball in their hands. It's not Victor Oladipo.
From one transcendent star to another, we go to the Milwaukee Bucks. They got eliminated by the Toronto Raptors in 6 games. From a personnel standpoint only, and I'll go to you, Omar, for this. Are they ready with Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Thon Maker? Are they ready from a personnel standpoint, or is there something missing?
Jabari Parker.
Wow, so you think he's the missing ingredient?
Well, I think it's Jabari. Can he stay healthy? And can Thon Maker make that next step? If he can make that next step, they're gonna be a load to deal with.
All right, let's stay in the Central Division. Chicago Bulls. We all thought it was going one way, and then Rondo had to break his thumb, and it went that other way. Is this it for Dwayne Wade?
I don't know if it's it, but it should be.
It should be.
Is he a free agent or does he have a player option?
He has a player option, and he said he's going to sit and watch and wait. He was like, I don't need to ring chase. So, but it didn't sound like a guy who was going to retire.
No, $23 million or whatever it is. Nah.
I think
He's back.
why not just wait to see if Hoiberg is coming back? You know, no reason for him. Now he didn't done enough where he can wait.
Kevin, should Fred Hoiberg be finished or should he be done?
He should be both.
Atlanta Hawks, their notable free agent is Paul Millsap. And this is tied to the question that I have, and I'll give it to you, Devin. Should they be, because what we saw in the series against Washington, offensively anyway, is that there was a real conflict between having your offense being run on the perimeter through Tim Hardaway, Schrader, and guys of that ilk, or do you run it in the interior through Millsap and Howard? So the question is, do you re-sign Millsap, and then who should you be running your offense through?
Well, Millsap, although he plays the 4, doesn't play in the box like that anyway. They're going to have to pay him. He's 32. The German, Schroeder, and Timmy are both young 20s.
Yep.
Schroeder showed me something in that series. I mean, he didn't always make the best decision, but he shows he has something. I think you build around those guys.
I mean, Millsap is going to be most wanted. There's going to be offers out there for Millsap.
Let's throw it to the non-Laker fan in the group for this final question. Indiana Pacers probably should have given Cleveland more of a fight. They failed in that regard. If you're Indiana, Kevin Pritchard, what do you do with PG-13 this summer, Kev?
Oh man, I think first off, I would hate to be Mr. Pritchard because I think they end up losing here. I think Paul George he's gone. I think he's coming out west for one of those 2 teams you guys got playing in Staples Center. I think they're actually going to end up rebuilding for the next 3 to 5 years. When Paul George leaves, that team is a mess.
So then you're saying get ahead of the horse and go ahead and get the maximum amount with the 2 teams or with the team that he's interested in going to, is what you're saying.
I think you try not
because the other option would be let's just run it back. He is still technically under contract and try to build something around him one more time.
I think you offer him that max deal to try to get him to stay, but I don't think he will. So you either try to trade him to get something for him, but either way, it's not looking good in Indiana.
All right.